Howdy folks, WindyCityThetanWatch. We are here in Chicago. It is NASCAR weekend. We're on Michigan Avenue, coming up on Harrison. You can see all of the fencing here, and this is to kind of keep the uninvited pedestrians out of the race area. You can see the dark fence there. That's actually the race course on the other side of that little concrete wall. So that's really bizarre that you're going to have 200-mile-an-hour cars heading down Michigan Avenue. Some of these people that live in these residences, what a great day for them, right? That they get to watch it, although I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit loud there. Just looking southward, got some helicopters over there, advertising airplanes up in the air, very traditional. It's blocked off a lot of the streets there in Grant Park. People that live down here, it's kind of a nightmare for them this weekend. Hey, Corn Freak. Howdy, Never In. Corn Freak. MD Media gets the top comment today, so congratulations. Hey, Fuzzy. Thanks for being here. This morning I did a Windy Wanders over on Lakeshore East, which is the residential area that is just above Grant Park or just north of Grant Park. I will say that we're at lunchtime right now, so it's unlikely that I'll see Scientologists out here. I did have my eye open. I came down Michigan Avenue, which Michigan Avenue is very busy today. It's a Sunday here in Chicago. And I want to say that, hey, thank you, Chicago, for showing up. I love that it turns out that the Chicago protesters do support one another, unlike some people have suggested. And by some, I mean one person. So we've got traffic here. Just because since Michigan Avenue is so whacked up, it kind of causes issues on some of these streets that are a little bit west of. Hello, Adrian. Thanks for heading over from Windy Wanders. We were able to see the car haulers and some of the cars that were underneath their protective canopies beforehand. Again, just a reminder, I still love that this Floyd's Barbershop, right? That you're in the barber chair and you're wide open to the street there. So it's a great feeling. And as I've said before, every once in a while, when I just want to treat myself, I have an easy head to shave. And usually I just have a little goatee. So it's not a lot of work for them, but I like to pamper myself and get myself a head shaving and a shave over at the Just a reminder that tomorrow is the next court date. I do plan on being over there. I'm sure that some of the people in the chat are probably going to be attending, or at least they're in spirit. Let's see if I missed anything there. Howdy, D. Yes. Boys can be pampered. I'll say that I think I'm going to struggle a little bit today because Eric Rader is being a DJ today, so you're hearing great music over on his channel. We're heading down Harrison. Again, I don't expect that we'll see many people. Usually this first half hour is just chatting about anything that's been happening in the world of anti-Scientology. Again, I want to remind people, this is not the place to bring your drama. If you want to tell us something positive about other streamers, that's great. You can leave your negativity at the door. You're more than happy to talk negatively about me. James, thanks for heading over. Appreciate that you were on Windy Wanders this morning. When we were, what was it? Last weekend on Windy Wanders, I was up in Madison, Wisconsin, and the missus and I had dinner at the Heritage. Yeah, I think it was the Heritage. And their kitchen is open, and we sat at the last two seats in the bar. So watching the activities of a kitchen, it's really enjoyable to me. So I know there's plenty of people that they don't want to be next to the kitchen, but it's really a cool experience. And I just bring that up for um, the idea that watching through the window to see things being made is awesome. Transparency is always a great thing. Howdy, growing up, or howdy, Aaron. Thanks for being here. We've got NASCAR in town this weekend, so I know that they'll be out in force. We're at lunchtime. Historically, we're not going to really see Scientologists out here right now. They're going to be finishing up their lunch. I did want to see if they had any tables or anything over by the NASCAR setup. We didn't see anything there, but I do want to go back and catch up on something. Right on, never in. Yeah. The reason that, in my opinion, that the anti-Scientology movement exists is to protest Scientology, educate people against, protest Scientology. So, thanks for reminding us of that. We're heading over to Clark Street. The org is on Clark Street. We probably will see people returning from lunch in the next 20, 25 minutes. I'll go over and get the blinds closed, assuming they're open. There might be other people out here protesting today. I did send an email out. I know that a lot of people were busy today, and I was very late sending out my email. Reminder to those that this courthouse is an immigration courthouse. So these are people taking their first step in a new country, just a block north of Scientology. To me, that's as dangerous as knowing that the colleges are right here. Yeah, let's do whatever we can to help help make sure Aaron gets some subs. Poor fella struggling up there at $250,000. Looks pretty quiet here on Clark Street today, on both sides. Now, again, it's a muggy day. It's a sunny day. I do think that it's a day where people are going to want to be indoors, under umbrellas, under trees. So, our 50-year-old Scientologist is here. Aaron, if you're in here, how can I help confront this guy? So, excuse me, ladies. All right, we've got some folks coming out. One of the Sakala boys is right here. You understand it's a cult, right? So we're seeing rubber banded flyers here. Civilians. All right, I'm going to follow these three. Now, there's rubber bands on there, so I think that they're planning on going quite a ways. This is going to be a mass population here in Chicago today. Today's a good day to have people out there. Howdy, MD Media. So this one's beat up, but I do have the business cards with me today. So we just saw the honor guard come by. Most likely they're here in some way to help represent for the opening ceremonies of NASCAR today. We're seeing another Scientologist come across the street in civilian clothing, right? So the redhead here is somebody who has warned me not to follow them. Oops, sorry. If you are in Chicagoland today and you want to come out here and have some fun, we're going to see people trying to pass off flyers today. This is the, looks like the blue Curious flyer for Scientology. It's got a barcode in there that's going to send you back to Scientology.org. Keeping in mind now the white-haired gentleman, the taller guy in the flannel, he actually might be staff. I think I have seen him in uniform before. I have never seen the other two in uniform before. That doesn't mean they are not staff. That means that today they're in civilian clothing. And regardless, they are going to try and do the bidding of Scientology. Right, you're noticing that I'm giving them all the distance in the world. It's Scientology. It's the cult of Scientology. You don't want that. It's Scientology. It's the cult of Scientology. You don't want that. Let me head up to the female real quick. Miss, just so you know, it's Scientology. It's a human trafficking cult. She looks to have put it in her big duffel. I'm going to let the Scientologist get back past me again. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Just a reminder, they do have a First Amendment right to pass out their propaganda. I have a First Amendment right to be here on the street and protest their First Amendment or their cult. You'll notice that I am in no way physically imposing upon them. I'm giving them their space. It is only the people that they're handing the flyers off to that I'm trying to help. Just so you know, that's the Church of Scientology. They're a human trafficking cult. Do you want that flyer? Yeah. Here's what you can actually find out information about what they do that's illegal on this card if you want to. Do you mind if I take that one? Thank you. They're just one block over. They're a very dangerous cult. Yeah. Yep. Howdy, Pete. Yeah, that's a good point. That they're probably going to be a little bit busy over at the NASCAR. Yeah, I enjoy when the city has these major events and things that come to the city, but I'll also say that it's challenging to have. I've told everybody on the other channel, Grant Park is Chicago's front yard, and I always think that it should be something that's available to all of the people in Chicago, not the. You understand that's a cult of Scientology, right? Do you want that flyer? Thank you. If you ever want to learn anything about their crimes.
Oh, I already know.
Okay.
I used to live in Clearwater.
Oh, nice.
Or near Clearwater.
There have been people that have kind of warned us that they're probably going to bring out their wallets and see if they can do the same thing in this neighborhood.
I sat outside on a patio there one time and just watching all of their classes, all these people.
Yes. Their briefcase full of books and yeah. Yes. Love that.
There's a couple people walking around and I finally looked for a place.
Yeah.
But I won't interrupt you.
No problem. Thank you so much. So the gentleman there said he's from Clearwater. So he's 100% used to what's going on here. Hey, guys, just you know, that's a cult.
Yeah.
So I know. So
I'm just saying, gotta tell you
I know.
about the Congressman Danny Davis.
Yes, you did.
And then
How you doing?
I'm cyber attacked every day. And,
Oh, yeah.
And right now, I almost had an argument with somebody on my floor. And, the weapons that they got is so damn hilarious, man. The
Yep.
cold weapons and the shadows and stuff, man.
I agree. I agree. Do you want that? Do you want that flyer? Do you want that flyer?
I got my Bible.
Nice.
Just prove it to you, man. I believe it's not a code, it's a message. I'm a messenger. My name is Messiah Johnson. I'm anointed. I love God. So thank you for your message.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
There you go. That's going to tell you. That's going to tell you all the crimes that church commits. That's the Church of Scientology. It's a cult. Do you know? You'll be able to talk to him. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go follow him.
Hey, thank you. We need to relate. What's
Yes.
your name again?
My name is Windy City. Paul.
Paul. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Take care. So I couldn't get the card from the one gentleman. And again, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. Unhoused people, right, that they have something, so they want something. They want to keep that. They possess it. Now, he did take my card as well. Ma'am, do you know that that's a cult of Scientology you took the card from? Again, you know that I don't really go into the private buildings. I think we're going to find that they headed back to, that gentleman, he's a very nice gentleman. There are times where he talks about things that require tinfoil hats and other times that he talks more mainstream Christianity. I usually try to disconnect from him quickly just because he'll talk my ear off for quite some time. Folks, I hope you didn't take that as I'm bashing the unhoused, but they have so little that anything that's given to them, it's very challenging for them to give up. Howdy. Just a guess here, I think they're going to head back in. I will show OSA on their camera that I've got their flyers. Howdy, Lady E. Yeah, MD Media, what's really interesting is it's going to be what is the environment or the landscape of the church. These urban buildings This is a place where they do sidewalk routing, right? People don't drive up to this org. They have to walk into this org. They're in a pedestrian area where they'll walk quite a bit in order to, they will walk. Everybody walks in the neighborhoods here. So walking the neighborhood is effective in finding new recruits. You see if I missed any conversation while we were up there. Yeah, I wonder how they actually split that, because there is a recurring commission that you get when you bring people into Scientology. But in reality, this team, they're responsible for getting people to the door. But then when they walk in the door, a different person is going to take over on the conversion element. Oh, by the way, when we first arrived here, the door was closed, or the windows were closed. So no real value there. Howdy, Jen Lau. Just letting the church know, so that's the church's camera, letting the church know that I've been collecting all of their flyers. This advertisement is DirecTV. Right, so we're seeing that right now. One thing that we did see is, you might not have seen it already. You know it's a cult, right? Okay, no problem. If you ever want to find out more, so here's some of the crimes that they've used and the people they've caused the abuse against. Oh, okay. And that website, that scan code, will let you see what's on there. And then this website will show you all the other elements. Okay. Thanks. We just wanted to see it. I understand. Did you learn anything? Did they made you watch videos, right? Yeah. They won't talk to you about it, will they? What do you mean? Will they explain to you what they're about, or they'll say, here, watch this video? No, yeah, we just watch the video. Yeah. So they're not allowed, they're not allowed to actually tell you how the religion works, because the leader doesn't believe they have enough information about that. So that's why they put you in front of these videos. And at the lowest level, it's the nicest things in the world. Be nice to others. You know, the way to happiness. Don't take drugs. But then you'll find out that, oh, wait, I have to take this next course, and that takes more money, and then on up the process. And then they have something called auditing. They're going to put you in front of another person, and you're going to confess sins to them. They're not like the Catholic Church. If you ever try to leave, they'll hold those things against you in that process. So if you go to that site, you're going to see some horrible stories about people that have escaped this organization. Okay. You want to see that as well? So this will give you more information about what that is. Okay. I'll give you a cleaner one. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. So if you remember, a couple of days ago, there was the black male that came out and he was talking to us, and 2 staff members came out. One of them was taller, thin, older. When she came out, as soon as she saw the camera, she went right back in, right? She was not going to be out here in front of me. That's the woman that just went in, and she kind of put her head down as I was talking to these 2 young ladies these 2 young ladies just went in. And they came out, they said, hey, we're just curious. And I explained to them, hey, here's what happened. This is the woman that I'm talking about. I explained to them that, hey, what happened? They made you watch videos, right? Yeah, they did make us watch videos. Did anybody talk to you? No, nobody talked to us. So that's, again, the decrepitness of this particular cult. Have a good day at the cult. Anything positive to share about the church? Yeah, there's nothing positive about your cult? You're still human trafficking? Still abusing the children, still abusing the elderly. So that's Church of Scientology. The woman was a little bit confused as to why I was out here. So today must be Civilian Day. And yes, I do agree that nobody wants to be on camera. Now, we know that some are told, you better not get caught on camera. Part of it is that we don't want family finding out where you're at. Excuse me, sir. Is this a private company or is this for the city?
It's a private company, but we can work for
The city hires you to come out and water? Okay, I got you. Thank you. So one thing I want to see if we can figure out here is that he had mentioned that they are a private company, but the city did hire them to come out here. Those are not the city's flowers. So I want to figure out why we're using taxpayer money to water flowers. I actually have the video of the day they were planting those flowers. We're going to head up to the top of the street just to see if they would have tried to squeeze people out the back while I'm out in front. Yeah, I've made this call to action before, and it would be most helpful to prevent Scientology from growing here. If you are in Chicago, and again, if you're not in Chicago, if you're near another place, please get out there, right? See what you can do. It's not that challenging for me to do this. You'll notice that, they're not confrontational people. I will say that, yes, there have been confrontational activities. Jay's person, I think that Jessica has had somebody physically accost her. We had something happen this past week, right? Chris, I think in LA. And at the grand opening, yes, they were incredibly physical and aggressive. But for the most part, these people, they'll say, "Don't follow me." They'll yell at you. But that's even a rarity. So they're out here having their cigarette break. Yeah, and again, I probably am saying things too black and white in this space. For the most part, the ones that we're seeing, they're not really trying to confront you. You can tell that some of them are upset that we're doing this. They're frustrated. One thing that I'll say is today is a foundation day, right? So this is the evening and weekend people. I have not seen our thin body router, right? The one that we've kind of called Curly. I have not seen him in quite some time. So, all right, did he quit? Is he on vacation? Did he get moved someplace else? Did he choose to go someplace else? I don't know if you can choose to go other places. It's very possible that he would have been a Sea Org member on loan or here for the surge of the grand opening. And now he's ready to go back to wherever he was based before that. Never can tell. And Lisa, you're absolutely correct. And the thing that I want to kind of remind people is that I'm not here to be the team captain. I don't want to be the organizer. I will help anybody with any information they want to, any questions you have. What do I need for equipment? Where do I go? I can definitely help you with those kinds of questions. I don't want us to say, hey, we're a club, we're a group. Somebody just poked out the front to see if the coast is clear. They'll do this quite a bit. They'll peek out to say, hey, is it safe to go out there? So this was one. Yeah. So this is the parking enforcement person that we saw a block over. We did tradesies. You can see that, I think that, sorry, we've got some civilians walking down the street. The one on the right is staff, and I think that she's more of a senior space. The one next to him, I've got the name of him on the website, but I, for the life of me, can't remember right now. But if you go to WindyCityThetanWatch.com and look at the blog about the Chicago staff, you'll see a picture of him and see his name. I think that he is a Dream Exchange employee. We did see the staff member kind of poke his head out to look up and down the street. Saw I was here. So that is one of the hints that maybe we're going to see somebody squeeze out the back. Now, something, and we get to cheer about this a little bit, right? The body routers took one lap. They were able to hand the one off to the woman. I don't think that she was interested. I'm not overly concerned about her. They were also able to hand it off to the unhoused people over in the park. One of them gave them back. The other person kept them. But he also did take my business card. Both of them took my business card. So they'll have more information there. They had a large stack, so they were going to go out and they were going to probably route for some time, try to pass off the whole stack, and then come back. They won't be able to do it right now. But they do know that if they just hunker down for a little bit, I can't be here all day, and they'll come out later, right? Yeah, I'll say that there are other Chicago area protesters who've done a little bit more research on it, and it's very possible that their activities are illegal. Like they might be pre-selling things that they shouldn't be pre-selling. I don't know enough about it, and I'm very serious. I don't know enough about it. All I can tell you is that they are heavily involved in the Church of Scientology here and the Church of Scientology in general. Joe Sakala is he is the founding partner of the Dream Exchange. He is also what they call a civilization builder here in Scientology. And what that means is he's going to go out and he's going to fundraise in other places now to help them raise money for their ideal orgs. And the place that we've most recently seen that is on June 19th. He had an event in Battle Creek, Michigan, which was probably a fundraiser to raise funds for that ideal org. We've got a staff member out on the sidewalk right now. I think it's the male that I was talking about. Now, one of the things that I'll say is that I'm fairly in tune with who the people are that body route and who the other people are that are more administrative or executive in this org. So them trying to send some of them out as decoys hopefully would not be as effective. Now, we know they will do it. I just saw the guy in the white t-shirt go in there. Excuse me, sir. I noticed you just went in for a second, just into the church. Scientology. I know. I thought you were just exploring. If you ever want to find out what they actually do and some of the crimes that they've been accused of.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're aware.
Right.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much.
Now this guy's going to kind of walk by because he's not with Scientology until I leave, and then he'll be part of Scientology again. So today out here, you can see that we're in dead sun. Very warm out here. Howdy, Cherokee Joy. Great to see you. Hopefully you're not standing on your head right now. Yeah, Miss Bramlett, that her father was one of the people that showed up on the earliest donor list. The 2005 donor list, which was the party, was by a wealthy couple, Randy Kretschmer, and I can never remember her name, but she was a chief marketing officer at Leo Burnett, which, if you think the movie Mad Men, it was about the advertising firms like Leo Burnett. So they were very wealthy individuals, and they invited people over, and her father is one of the people who was on the donors list. Yeah, I saw that. I was on with Perth, boy, was it yesterday morning? And there was a bit of a talk about the idea that people are traveling over to Melbourne. Howdy, Indigo. Things are doing well today. We have been able to capture a few flyers. There were people that came out in civilian clothing. Today is a target-rich environment. The NASCAR, which there was a time when they would be considered the biggest audiences of a NASCAR audience is usually like 200,000 people for a given event, whereas more people watch soccer, more people watch a single event of NASCAR. And NASCAR is a huge advertising element. We always joke about people who wear advertising on their shirts that we call them NASCAR shirts. But NASCAR is a big motorsport here in Chicago. Well, in North America, it is the North American Stock Car Racing is where NASCAR gets its name. The thing that I love about it, it came out of bootlegging. So the earliest, Junior Johnson was one of the earliest winning NASCAR drivers. And back in the day, you were both the mechanic and the driver. And they would boost up their cars so that they could, during Prohibition, they wanted to be able to move their liquor around, and they needed to be able to outrun the police. So, howdy, Declare Dave. Great seeing you. Thank you, Genoa. And Fuzzy. Jinx, you owe one another a Coke. I'm seeing another staff member having walked out with her coat over her vest. Here we see one of the staff members leaving. This might be they're leaving for the day, although it's 1:06. Maybe they were there for the lunchtime crew, and now they get their lunch hour. Dave, we don't call them that anymore. Let me go around back. So, yeah, as I had assumed, the suited gentleman, he walked into Subway, so he was one of the people that was probably holding the fort down at lunchtime. And now that lunch is over, it's his chance to go out and get something to eat. Folks, if you ever want to have a really good education about what Scientology does, Dave, absolutely brilliant, has an awful lot of information. Recently, we've been seeing, well, some of the fun culty propaganda that they've got, but also he's done some serious elements about the Lisa McPherson Trust and Lisa McPherson herself, and Bob Minton, right, who was the initial fundraiser in the anti-Scientology movement to help. You know what? That is a Scientologist heading down there. Oh, poor fella. He always wears all black, so he's got an all black crew sweater on. Let me see if he comes out the street. I'm going to cross the street here so I have the light, and I'll be on the opposite side of the street heading down. I just want to see if I'll see him cross the street. He is one of the people that we have seen routing in the past. Sorry, Bob Minton sacrificed a lot. The church sued him into bankruptcy, basically. The building that used to be the Lisa McPherson Trust was eventually had to be handed over to Scientology. So, but great stuff, great education when you go and watch Dave. And Dave has a great mod, doesn't he, Fuzzy? Kind of got my eye open to see if that the person that was walking down the alley, he's a black male, not quite as thin as the one that we see most often, but he is wearing black long sleeve sweatshirt and a turtleneck. Want to see if he tries to poke out across the street here. Now, there are a couple other ways that they can get out of the zone down here. I did not see him cross the street. He might have gone out the back door just so that he can come down. So a lot of them will come to this this Pure Green juice bar as well. He did not cross the street. I'm not sure where he would have gone. They will also go into social, but social doesn't do takeaway as much as some of these other retailers do. Something else that they can do, but I never see them do, is they can walk underneath those railroad tracks into that next neighborhood. But that's kind of a dead-end neighborhood, and it's challenging for them to walk out of that neighborhood. So far this morning, I saw nobody. I walked the entire length of Michigan Avenue along the fence that before I went live. There's a fence that is separating the NASCAR event from the Michigan Avenue sidewalk. I walked that entire length, and I didn't see any Scientologists or any Scientology propaganda. Nothing on the ground, nothing in anybody's hands as I was walking by. So I do not believe that they were out there this morning. I do think that when I arrived here, the blinds were down. I know that. That's not a thing. But 3 people in civilian clothing came out and were going to do routing. They were handing out the DirecTV propaganda. They were probably going to head over to NASCAR. I don't know why I was walking in the sun rather than the shade here. Well, at the end of the day, we're all related somehow. Yeah, maybe, sorry, to the earlier Adrian's, should we all play D&D or one of those? Remember when there used to be the game night in Scientology? Somebody just walked in there. See, the civilian clothing is tough on me. We have a staff member, he walked up to the front door, and again, they're trying to see if the coast is clear. Can we send the body routers out again? You know what? Let's run a bit of an experiment. I'm gonna head up to the corner. We'll talk for a bit, and I'll just keep my eye on what's going on down here. I'll be out of his vision, and just want to see if my hunch is correct, that he's checking to see if the coast is clear and if the body routers can come out again. Howdy, Lavender Bridge. It is Sunday, so this bank has a security guard, but since the security guard's not here, I'll just hang out here in this doorway. We'll look down there and we'll have a little chat as to what's going on. Just a couple of reminders. Subscriptions are free today, so if you are not yet subscribed, please do. The other thing is that I would encourage you to hit the notification button. There are plenty of times, especially during the week, when I'm opportunistic, that if I have a chance to, I'll come over here and I'll do some auditing, and that way you'll get the notification. Yesterday or Friday, I did a compilation of the video of Sergeant Dolan. Sergeant Dolan is a Chicago police officer. He's a sergeant, and he has shown a propensity to support the Church of Scientology. So when the Church of Scientology cries wolf, he comes running. There were 3 little episodes that we saw on that. One of them was, I think it was Memorial Day. I was here very early, and I was doing chalk on the sidewalks. The first sergeant that came up, Mascaro, I'm pretty sure it was Mascaro, he said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. And then he went away, and then he came back, and he said, oh, we looked up the ordinance, and it says you can't mark. Now, I believe that term mark is intended to say mark in a permanent fashion, right? To etch, to cut, to inscribe, because it's the only reference to a temporary kind of damage. And the ordinance says damage. Chalk is not damaging to there. So the first sergeant came back, and when he came back, at that point there were 6 police there. So I'm a single protester, and I've got chalk on the sidewalk, and Chicago has sent 6 police officers out to protect the Church of Scientology at that point in time. The first sergeant that talks to me, he's also wanted to remind me that, hey, you can't put your camera in people's faces. And I said, have I ever? He said, no, you haven't, but I just want to tell you. And it's sort of like, hey, don't eat yellow snow, jackass. Sorry for my language. Don't eat yellow snow, officer, right? I can tell you a lot of stupid things that you're not doing either. So no need to tell me not to do things that I don't do. Well, of the 6 officers that were out on the street, I typically ask all of the officers to identify, and I went out and all of them identified except for Sergeant Dolan. Sergeant Dolan wouldn't acknowledge me, and when I brought the camera towards him, he scurried back to his car. So that was the first episode. The next episode was, I think it was Korn had done some chalk work, and it was putting some of the Dianetics language down on the street. And it was the Dianetics passage about that a young girl being sensually kissed by an older male, if she objects, it's an engram from a past life. She has no right, and she shouldn't care to protest, because that's a perfectly normal action. And the officer came. Oh, and Never and Nana was also in that one. Never and Nana had put down some cards, some signage along the sidewalk, and we placed rocks on it. So we didn't affix them to the sidewalk. Well, he came by and he picked up the signs first, and he picked up the rocks and he handed them back to Never and Nana. And then there was a sign that was not held down by a rock. It was just sitting there freely. So fortunately, there wasn't enough wind, right? And in sitting there freely, he picked that one up too. And the protest was, hey, why'd you pick that one up? Somebody just poked their head out the church. So we'll see if they head down the street. Why did you pick that one up? And he says, well, it's affixed. And it obviously was not affixed in that space. Then he was getting pissy about the fact that Korn had done some chalk, and he wanted to get rid of that. And so he said, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to get a bucket of water. And he went inside, and he actually did get a bucket of water. And he came back out with that bucket of water, and he did a piss poor job of putting the water on the chalk, trying to wash away the chalk. He did a terrible job. You could see the chalk till the end of the day. Every bit of that wording was still fully visible. But he did the bidding of the church, right? And that's not really what a public official should be doing. And then the third episode was another chalking instance, because again, remember, chalking is a very serious thing here in Chicago. If you look at this past weekend, there were 76 gunshot firings and 16 deaths. Somewhere, those numbers are approximately right. But we're worried about chalk on a sidewalk. Free Xenu Project had come and done the chalk, and he put the same passage down from Dianetics. And the officer sat in his car across the street and over the PA system said, hey, either you have to wash that, or either you have to clean that, or I will. And I encouraged Free Xenu Project to say, well, let him if he wants to, but you have no obligation to, don't worry about it. And when I got there, there was a Scientologist talking to the police officer, Sergeant Dolan, on the other side of the street. So I went over, and I knew that if I started telling the Xenu story that the Scientologist would have to leave. Before I got across the street, the Scientologist did leave. I asked Dolan for his name and a badge number, and he said, what? He played stupid. And then he wanted to know why, and I said, well, I don't really need a reason, but I'm a public citizen, and I'm doing a journalistic story, and I want to know who the officer is who was called out here, and I want to know the reason that you were called out here. And he says, you know my name. I said, is that what you tell the judge? Right? You tell the judge, don't worry about it, you know my name? I'd like to be in court the day that you do that. So that was his third element of, right, just doing the bidding of the church. He also told me, hey, you should get out of the street before you get hit. And did you warn the Scientologist the same thing? Right? So yesterday we saw that. Right? There was the police compilation in that space. Then another one that I really thought was amazing this past week was, I'm going to miss one or two of them, but auditing Scientology, Xenus, Free Xenu Project, and there's at least one other. Elron Liar wasn't there, but there was one other that was there. But they found an event, a food truck event in a parking lot, and Scientology was out there with, I think it was Way to Happiness. But regardless, they were out there trying to peddle their wares. And this group of individuals went out and collected 97, almost 100 pieces of propaganda from the church that night. One of the things I've talked to Free Xenu since talking. What kind of word are you making up now? I talked to Free Xenu Project after that, and he said the Scientologist came up and asked if we could have the flyers back. It's like, hell no, you can't have the flyers back, right? Max Payne when it comes to that kind of stuff. Sorry, I just wanted to look up the other side of the street as well. I just really like when we're making it extremely challenging for these churches to grow, right? Now, if we weren't here, and again, I know I'm going to be here for an hour today, right? And I'm going to stop them for a little bit. But when I go home, they'll know that I've left, and they'll come out and they'll they'll go ahead and start papering the city with their flyers. I want to encourage you, please come out whenever you can. You know, bring a camera for security. You don't have to stream. Get the video of it on there. Do a private live and let people that you know that you're doing it. So that way, if you want the protection that somebody could make a phone call if needed, you'd have that. So, but I don't think people understand the physics of horns. Horns cannot propel cars as fast as they think that they can. Come out here and protest the church when you get a chance. Right? I'm going to tell you, I find it rather enjoyable that you're able to collect all of this from these people. And these people are genuinely happy that you're educating them as to what you saved them from. Auditing, thanks. Good to hear. I think there were 4 channels out there, but I only named 3. I can't remember who I missed. So Auditing Scientology, Z News KC, Free Xenu Project. And again, all of those channels that I just mentioned, they're out fairly regularly. And whether or not they're putting chalk down, we're going to kind of get on the move here. Whether or not they're putting chalk down or trying to protest the church in other ways, they're out a lot. And this is not a statement against people who are in the studio, but I love the channels that are out there on the streets so frequently, right? Cubs, MD Media, Eric Rader. That doesn't mean that the other forums aren't great, and they are great. They're just the ones that I identify with more. Right? So I much more identify with the people that are out fairly consistently and on the street. We need the studio people, right? The ex-Scientologists shouldn't have to worry about coming out and protesting. I love it when they do, but they're the ones that educate us. They give us all of the ammunition to challenge anything somebody might come up and talk to us about on the street. Hey, Pup Groomer, how are you? Pup Groomer also provides a service that there's any number of literature that you can use, and Pup Groomer kind of holds those, and you can download those and print those. And if you have an idea for a flyer, she doesn't hoard credit, right? And I think it's she, I don't know. Pup Groomer doesn't hoard credit. That if you want your name attached to it, that's great. You can have your name attached to it, but upload your content there as well, and just make that repository of things that people can download. And it can be anything. You know, I don't care if you're doing Aftermath. I don't care if you're doing SPTV Foundation. That if you're doing something that is against the church, I'm a fan. Just a lady and her puppy brush. Kind of looking down the street here. You'll notice that, right, there's just not a lot of people out here. It's almost too hot to be out on the sidewalk. Here's a puppy doing what they need to in front of the Church of Scientology. Oh, fuzzy pink, it's like you're reading minds. Business cards, right? Business cards, flyers, 8x10s. One thing I don't remember if I see this on Pup Groomer's page, but can we also see the petitions and the letters to send to politicians? Or is that more fat Grammy? But folks, there's resources out there. Something else to let you know about, right? You've got the sptv.space. So that's what's always telling you what's live at the top, and then all of the other channels are listed below it, and there's 200 plus nowadays. But there's also, at the top of that page, you'll see there's a little drop down for resources. And it can be websites, it can be interviews, it can be petitions. So I would encourage you to explore some of those spaces as well. Hello, Audit Golden Era. Which, by the way, I know that it's not really an easily auditable place, but I absolutely want to go to California and go up to Golden Era and fly the drone over it. I know it's not protected airspace, just to annoy them. So we're looking down the alley, not really seeing much here. Yeah, when I think about Fat Grammy, I just think that she's an we all protest in our ways, but she's an activist, and she's one of those people that where it's a good thing to be a keyboard warrior, and she is a keyboard warrior. She finds stuff, she publishes stuff. So all kinds of awesome stuff there. And again, that's not my forte. Now, I have found things in the past, and I have tried to share them. I've written several articles over on the WindyCityThetanWatch.com site. But there have been people that have done deeper investigations, and they're more, I would say, it's in their wheelhouse, right? It's a thing that I do, but I won't say that it's a natural thing that I do. Oh, I love Miranda Williamson. And I'm joking about the name because I just love that we joke about Natalie having made a mispronunciation on occasion. But Mindy is a joy to follow just because I don't know if she can not smile. We're heading over to Dearborn. I don't think that anybody's out here. I think that they're trying to wait me out. So I'm trying to stay kind of away from where they're at. It is my understanding that nobody or only one or two people in that building actually watches me in real time. And therefore, they actually physically have to look out the door to see if I'm here or not here. So my moving off the street means that they might take the chance to send the body routers out again. Yeah, I've looked at the Google Maps of that, and I'll say that Mark and Claire did a video of the how I escaped. I think it might have been how somebody else broke in, but it was basically whether it was escape or breaking in. They showed a lot of the defenses of the org, of the Golden Era base. Oh, you know what? I never thought about that Auto Golden Era, right? The idea that while at one time it was the capital, for lack of a better term, or headquarters, when it no longer became that, although it still is where the filming occurs, right? So I assume that all the film crews still are golden era, but not as much of the executive might be up there. All right, now I'm going to research that, Dave. I want to send all my emails in the form of telexes or faxes. Should I send a fax machine over here? So this looks to be, if you look across the street, this guy just came out and he's got, looks like a portfolio book. It might be a hard textbook. Now I can see papers trailing out of it on their side. Like if you look through the window reflection, you can see there's papers trailing out of it. So probably some form of coursework that he was going through. Gotcha. And then David mentioned this. Yeah, I think that's a Kansas City thing, right? Boy, bringing up Reese again. Howdy, real sassafras. So we're across the street. You know what? Let me get you right in front of so we can get the nice picture. I think this is Izzy coming up the street. She'll cross over before she gets this far up. You've got another gentleman heading into the org across the street there, right? And here we've got Izzy heading. Oh no, that's not Izzy. That is one of the more Asian looking people, and I'm not trying to say that in a profiling. It's merely a descriptive statement. So these two I have seen before. 1:35 seems like a strange arrival time. Again, I just don't understand foundation the same way that I understand day org. It is very fun to watch them walk up the street, and then when they see the camera, they'll about face, and then they'll walk backwards and go, not, they'll walk the opposite direction and then head to the alley and come in the back. And there have been times where since I can run pretty quickly and get back there, I'll go back there, and when they see me in the alley, they about face again and they'll come around. Another one that's really fun, maybe this will show up from here, but right, you see the red light down there, that's Polk Street. And again, this is a 200, this is 2 streets worth of, or 2 blocks worth of street. There is no intersecting street at 600, but it goes from, I'm sorry, there is no 700. There's a 600 and an 800. There have been people down there who have seen me come in, and when they see me at that corner, they will walk all the way around here. They'll go down Dearborn, and they'll come down this street, and then when I come up over here, they'll reverse course. So they'll walk that far out of their way to avoid me as a protester. And sorry, I don't mean to sound that I'm a special person. Any one of us as protesters, if you're out here with the camera, they do not want to be seen on camera. They don't want to be filmed on camera. They don't want to be, I'll use the term harassed, but that's not what it is. They don't want to have any education about what Scientology is when they're arriving at the org. Yeah, Dave, I've heard that same thing, that right, that my understanding is that nowadays that Clearwater is kind of where he resides, or that's home base for him. But yeah, he's not gold base anymore. Little teacup Yorkie across the street. Great news, real. Have a great time out there. Be safe. Yeah, absolutely. Right. The idea that they just don't want to hear truths. I'm going to quickly push through to the alley just to see if there's anybody back there. So if you are coming in late, we were fairly successful. They did send some body routers out. They were in civilian clothing. They handed off 5 pieces. So more got through than usual, but I'll kind of say this, that the first woman, I don't like to be loud and aggressive as I'm approaching somebody, and she just wasn't even interested in turning around. So it's sort of like, you know what, I'm a male chasing a woman down the street. Maybe I don't need to be doing that. I'll let her keep her flyer. The other one is that there was a homeless fella. There was a few people in the park that are unhoused, and they had flyers. They did keep the Scientology flyers, but they also took my flyers. And I think that I will say that the person that wanted to keep the flyers looked to have some of the effects of being on the spectrum. So there was it felt like hoarding. Oh, bless you, Golden Era. Thank you so much. You know, this is interesting, Adam. On the day, I don't think a lot of people picked this up because a lot of people had eyes on Shannon, rightfully so. Ooh, remember the blue? There's a blue vest that just walked out. If you see down there, right, the larger female with you know, the bronzed hair, she's got the light blue or silver vest down there. Sorry, but trashy V12 BMW. He went in the back alley, and there was a guy that looked like Presidential Secret Service at the back door, and it was fun. Trashy invited them to lunch, right? Hey, if you ever want to go to lunch or something like that. But this guy was very stern faced and everything like that. And my expectation is that was private security for David Miscavige. Yeah, that's a good point, right? That they're not a, it's not a group. If they feel that they can exploit the homeless for labor, maybe, but they're not going to help the homeless. And because their actual, although they have the modern Dianetics, modern mental health, science of modern mental health, something of that nature, it actually doesn't work. So they can't help these homeless or unhoused people that are walking in there. See if there's anything noticeably new here. No. Again, one of the things that Scientology is known for, right, is that they do buy distinctive old buildings, and this old building is called the Art Craft Building. So you're seeing a little bit over there. The last sentence there, right? The Church of Scientology brought a new life to the Art Craft Building as a center of service to the people of Chicago. I don't know if it's the same plaque on both sides. Yeah, it is the same plaque on both sides. Now, one of the things that's fairly good about that is that they can't really do anything to the outside of the building. Um, you know, I do think that they do. So if 100 flyers leave and 95 get back, then there will be that idea that says, what, 5 of them were passed out. So my expectation is that they counted 5 flyers and they got back. They won't talk about the flyers that I captured. We have some suppositions or assumptions that one of the reasons why they send multiple people out to do the body routing is that person A is kind of checking person B. Right? That one I don't know. They might count the number of people they gave them to, but I don't think they're keeping any kind of demographic element on that. Yeah, you know what? I was not watching most of the channels, but I got the impression that there was an awful lot of news in that space yesterday. Got a young lady heading into the org. Anything positive to share about the church? Nothing positive about your cult? Your cult doesn't have anything positive? Thank you, Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs. This morning, we looked at a planned neighborhood called Lakeshore East. Lakeshore East is along the river where the river meets Lake Michigan. It used to be a rail yard long ago. So the Illinois Central, that would have been where they would have stored cars ready to be loaded or extra cars that didn't have anything in them. Then a developer came along. Once the ICC didn't have as big a presence in here and freight didn't move through Chicago as much as it used to, the ICC sold that land. The Magellan Development Company came in and they wanted to develop that land. What they first did is they turned it into a golf course because that land had to kind of be recompacted in order to build on it. So they built a golf course there. There was a par 3 golf course there from maybe 1994 until about 2001. And then in 2001, they started breaking ground on some of those buildings. And there are some significant buildings in there. The St. Regis might be one of the tallest residential buildings in the world. Then you've got the Aqua, which is, darn it, Gene, it's the person that, the architect that designed that is a woman. And it's one of the most significant buildings built by a woman, and her studio, Jean something. I've got it on, might be able to find it here. Jean Gang, G-A-N-G. Yeah, the St. Regis, 93 stories tall. The Jean Gang, 82 stories tall. And those have some wonderful views of the lake and the city, depending on which side of the building you're on. Yeah, I do think that Scientology is eventually going to go down, but it's not going to be, it'll be a slow spin down. Removing the tax exempt form would be huge. Oh, I remember clapping Kyle. I'm going to have to go back and watch those. I hope you gave the cops a tough time. See ya, Corn. You know, normally I have pretty good reception here. It might be that I am high on minutes, although I think that I started a new month on the plan. Let me also wipe, sorry, you're going to get a little bit of a blur. Let me wipe the lenses. So I hate that it's pixelated. What I want to do, and I've asked a couple of people for this, and I don't know that it exists. I think what I'm going to have to do is actually buy 2 Osmo gimbals and then buy a flat board and mount them both on there. Because what I'd really like to do is I want to have the live presentation, but the quality of the video that comes out of the live presentation, it's great for real time, but it's not 4K, and it doesn't make for great clips and post editing like to put into other videos. So I want to have another phone that's just recording the raw camera. And I might do it with, he had suggested that I actually go live on like a GoPro. But what I think I'm going to do is I'll still go live on the phone, and then I'll record the GoPro as my backup, because that should give me the 4K. Now, what I have to do is make sure I've got a gimbal on it or something like that. Howdy, Lady Jane out. But thanks for the feedback, Ace Lover. Is that Ace Lover as in you like the hardware co-op, or that when you're playing poker, you prefer to get all the aces dealt to you? Or you're a Burt Reynolds fan and you just can't give up on stroke or ace? Now, I will say that I kind of run into trouble on the other channel because I'll do things like try to go through the pedway or go through the subways. And when you're below ground, yeah, to do live feed, not very helpful. Ace Frehley, yes. I actually think that, so when Kiss did the 4 independent albums, I had the Ace Frehley one, and I think that was Snowblind. All right, folks, we're going to take one more pass at the alley, and then I need to go get some food, go find the missus, grab her some dinner. What I think I'm going to do on the exit today is we'll walk back to NASCAR, and I'll let you see some of the setup there. If we do have other auditors out there, definitely want to see if we can go do a room raid. I might be late to it just because, like I said, I want to kind of show you what's going on over there. So I think we've kind of thwarted them for a while. We know that they're kind of outwaiting me, just hunkering down, waiting until I head out. Once I head out, maybe they'll put the blinds back up. Maybe they'll send the body riders back out. One thing, although, again, it's just not a trusting organization, that why don't they send their members home with the flyers? And then when they wake up, that they can go out and flyer the neighborhood from where they live rather than come to the org. And I'm going to tell you that my sneaking suspicion is they so mistrust all of their members that they don't believe their members would do it, right? Ah, I hate that, Ace. You know what I'm going to do next time is I'll switch over to the other phone Thank you, Neverin. I I still think that they have such a mistrust for people, right? Just as an example, and I want to remind everybody that Nance Drew has her court case tomorrow, so that'll be there. You should expect to see me out supporting her there. I will try to give you a brief rundown after the court case. But the way that she described Chadwick in court at the last appearance, how he looked so disheveled, um, again, he was being penalized, but there's also a mistrust of, we need to get you away from this area. We don't trust you to stay hidden on your own, right? So we're going to put you in the hole. Yeah, I definitely will do that, Ace. And I guess what I'll have to do, I'm going to have to figure out what rate it's broadcasting at, because I think I'm sure. I'm going to put you in vertical for a second because I can see it there. The claim is that I have 5G UC going on right now, so that should be solid, and I have full bars. What I'll do someday is I'll go find a picnic table, and I'll get a couple of my phones out at the same time. Now, I don't know if that'll help. They're all on the same provider. I will say that I'm only broadcasting at 720. When I'm in the studio, I'll broadcast at 1080, and it's the 720 just eats up the bandwidth too much. Oh, that's actually what it is. It's NASCAR. NASCAR is chewing up the bandwidth here. But you're saying that it's always that way. So we're walking down Harrison. We're 2 blocks away from the NASCAR course. Grab myself some water. Thanks, Michael. Do you see it as consistently as Ace is saying it? I know that you're in quite a bit. Yeah, my guess is that right now it's going to get really ugly. So, by the way, let's make sure that we get everybody out to the next room raid. I'll see a couple of trains go overhead. All right, folks, let's head over to Bobby Joe. I'll be there shortly. I'll take you to Michigan Avenue, which, again, I think that the bandwidth is going to be very bad while we head over there.
Don't be scared. You know how to rap. You know how to rap.
Hey, does anybody, when is the start of NASCAR today? I will definitely go look at that, Lavender. Was Lavender, is it the one where he was in St. Louis at the festival and collecting the flyers? I just saw there's a helicopter flying low over the race course. I am definitely hearing some loud music, but sometimes there's a barber shop here at the corner of the hotel that's doing that. It might be the event itself broadcasting. You can see the stands are starting to fill in here. This is the liquid death area. Yeah, are you on the jets, Twyla, or are you under the jets? I'm going to have to kind of talk here a bit because I can hear some loud music. It's mostly behind me, so I think we'll walk away from it fairly quickly. We're about to walk past Jehovah's Witness. So here we've got some folks. And again, the Jehovah's Witnesses are so much more passive about how they hand out information than we see from Scientology. So where we're at right now is Michigan Avenue has Congress Expressway, and there's this curve where here we go, folks. Just so you know, that's a cult. That's Scientology. That's a cult. You don't want that. Oh, good.
Come on, you finna give me?
Thank you. Do you mind if I take them? You want
Yeah,
to?
you can have me go. One more time, I'ma blow your mind with a flow that shines sort of like gold man. If I sign a dot, what a man you got. Showtime, blow time while I rip spot. Whoa, what you ain't know? 38 big head flow, big head holes. Bitch like a dough with the calico. And if it's time for a show, I'ma run in my holes just to get that crunk. Spit that funk. Shit that'll ride on the back of the trunk. And you want to try to battle from the back of the pump. And I don't even see why I ain't platinum plus.
Nice job.
So I don't talk no shit or stalk no bitch that walk the strip talking all that shit. All you get is the dick until I call it quits. And now I know you love to wear a true ball.
I got to go find my other guy, though. Thank you so much. Talk to you. So, we saw our Scientologist, right? More Scientology. I know that we headed over to the other channel. That's great. Boy, this guy out here in the heat in that black suit. By the way, we do live rapping here in Chicago as well. I'm going to make sure this guy goes back to the org, and then we'll shut down the chat then, and I'll head over to Bobby Joe. Hey, guys, it's a cult of Scientology. Do you want that? No. Can I have him? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Oop, sorry. Thank you. You definitely don't want that. Just so you know, it's a cult of Scientology. Do you want those? Do you want that flyer? Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it. They had already folded theirs up. Miss? She's already thrown hers out. We'll get him back to the org. Now I know that he's going to head right back out as soon as I get back there. These guys are interrupting me while I'm trying to drink water. It looks like he's already kind of put them in his pocket. Howdy, Scooter Mom. Folks, I'm still heading over to Bobby Joe's shortly. We did see that we came across a Scientologist again. Sorry, let me... mute the mic while the ambulance comes by.
What's the actual question like?
Sometimes we get surprises while we're out here. Thought we were going to have an end of the day.
I had a dream last night.
He's definitely heading back to the org. That's awesome. All right, folks, I think he's going back to the org. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Thanks for being here. If you stayed all the way to the end, please subscribe. Make sure you like, share this out, let other people know. Let's go over and support Bobby Joe real quick.